Let's bring in now Republican strategist and MS Now political analyst Matthew Bartlett and former California Democratic Senator Barbara Boxer still with me. Matthew, Trump is already facing blowback for a series of D.C. vanity projects that will cost taxpayers millions of dollars, and Americans are facing rising costs. So paying close attention to these celebratory events for the 250th, does that cost him in the end? Are independent voters and even some Republicans going to be put off by this?
Yeah, Ariel, great question. As we just heard from Michaela, there is no end to this war. There is no help on the economy. Even Milli Vanilli has pulled out of your D.C. concert. So the president is going to do a rally. And I think we all remember the last time he did a rally in D.C., and it didn't end so well. This is not helpful. It seems as if the president has lost all credibility on the number one priority of the American public, the economy, and he is laser focused on his ballroom, on his arch, and all of last week just talking about fountains here in D.C. So, yes, it is America's 250th celebration. Both parties, all Americans should celebrate that. But it seems as if the president is just putting together a haphazard, sloppy slate of events that are just focused on himself more than anything, which, again, Republicans I talk to don't find this to be a helpful agenda as we move towards the midterms.
I mean, come on, Matthew. Milli Vanilli had some hits, even if they were lip syncing. Senator, this is supposed to be about the celebration of our country, 250 years. It's a milestone. What does it say that even something like this has become polarizing?
Well, I agree with everything that's been said. It makes me ill. I mean, this country means everything to so many people. Speaking from my own personal story, my mother was brought out of Europe in her mother's arms. I'm a first-generation American on that side of my family. And my dad, he was the youngest of 9, the only one born here. And the reason I'm spending time on this is to just try and explain what America means to most of the people here. It's not about one president. It's not about this president, and particularly at a time when Americans are suffering. And you're showing what he's done to the legacy of this country. Taking a bulldozer to the White House is just a symbol for everything he's done to this, the greatest country of all. I hope we can get through this period and get back to normal, because it's really painful to see.
I'm going to take, admittedly, a sharp turn here, but I do want to get your thoughts on something very different. Senator, Democrats are also contending with a new scandal here. Maine Democratic Senate candidate Graham Plattner is now facing growing criticism after reports that he exchanged those sexually explicit texts with multiple women, which his wife initially flagged to his own campaign. Plattner's wife acknowledges telling the campaign about those texts, but she's defended her husband in all of this. Still, you have Democrats that say they're concerned here. Here was Senator Cory Booker on that.
Yeah, I have concerns. That guy has questions to answer, and that's what campaigns are for. I know that so much is riding on Democrats taking control of the Senate, that this election, if we do not get the votes necessary to take care of the House and the Senate, we will continue to have an out-of-control president.
Okay, so, Senator, I know in the last segment you said you don't like to tell someone not to run, but can Plattner's campaign rebound from this? And is there a point where Democrats should come out and denounce him after this spate of controversies that he's faced?
Well, I think the truth is the truth. This is extremely offensive. It's ugly. And, I feel terrible for his wife. I do think, however, where we are at this moment in history, you have to look at what's more offensive. What he did there that he's apparently worked out with his wife, it's ugly. It's got to be acknowledged. But what else is offensive? To me, if I'm in Maine and it's a blue state, and, Susan Collins, who I liked personally, but politically, I was always so disappointed with her. What I want to say about that is what's more offensive, this personal ugly side, or the fact that Susan Collins has voted 96% with Donald Trump. And what's at stake here? People's health care, affordability, this economy, jobs, threats to democracy, the fact that we've got, Susan Collins voting with this guy 96% of the time. So it's up to voters. What is more offensive? It's a tough choice. But I think at the end of the day, considering where we're at as a nation, Democrats still have a chance there.
There are those who argue that even that 4% that she votes against the president in this hyper-polarized climate is something, and that she's more bipartisan than many other Republicans. Matthew, Plattner's certainly no stranger to controversy at this point. He had the tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol in old online posts. Of course, he made those racist comments, and he's blamed sexual assault on the victims themselves. But he's still up in the polls. So does this scandal turn the tide? Is this the one?
Unclear. This will not be sorted out in D.C. This will be sorted out in Maine. As you've said, his campaign has almost been a weekly apology tour on incredulous things that he has said online in the past, as well as, again, from his tattoos and now his personal life. We've seen both parties deal with scandal-plagued candidates in past years and now even across states. I do think at the end of the day, it's going to be about the voters and the issues. They want to talk about my yesterdays. I want to talk about your tomorrows. I think that will continue to be the most compelling notion in this election. And it's a question of who can harness that, which candidate, which party. So again, focusing on the soap opera is important, but it is not the only thing. So again, this is a very frothy election across the country. A lot of pain the American voters are feeling, and a lot of time before November.
We'll see if these scandals start to stack up in the minds of voters, or if they are squarely focused, as they've told our reporters there on the ground, on housing and affordability. Matthew Bartlett and Senator Barbara Boxer, thank you both.